All right. Thank you so much for coming to our second episode of Sports and Peace with UPF, um, where the series is actually called "What's Your Cup of Tea with UPF," but it is where we discuss trending topics with you guys and our wonderful speakers. I'm Ellie, representing UPF International.
And I'm Melanie, representing UPF Europe and the Middle East.
All right. So we have two lovely guests today, Patrick Pretty from the UK and Songguk from Chile. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves a little bit for us, please?
If you could also add, for example, related to sports, since it's the topic, and also football, like how did you start doing sports in the first place, and also how it has impacted your life?
Okay, great.
You can go first if you want, Patrick.
Should I? Okay, so I'm going. All right.
You?
I'll go for it.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, hey everyone. It's nice to see a lot of people. Some familiar names, some non-familiar names joining us. And yeah, just quickly to introduce myself. My name is Patrick Pretty. I'm from Birmingham in the UK. And yeah, I'm an avid footballer. Have been since a very young age. Yeah, my dad used to tell me when I was younger that the first word which I ever said was goal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was that I scored or I was watching my elder brothers scored, but yeah, having a lot of older brothers around me, I played a lot of football growing up, and yeah, from when I was little until last week, and you know, I still have my injuries from last week's football game. Then, yeah. Anyways, avid Manchester United fan, and yeah, nice to be here with you all today. Hope we can have a good discussion over our tea.
Thank you so much, Patrick. That's so nice. Yes, I also got mine. Thank you for joining us, and that's really cute, actually, as your first word. That really shows your passion as a football player. That must have been a sign. Yes.
It's in my blood, yeah.
Yes. Songguk, do you want to go next?
Yes, sure. Okay, my name is Songguk. I'm from Colombia. I'm half Chilean as well. What else? I'm 21 years old, and I love soccer. That's why I'm here. I played, just like Patrick said, that I played my whole life, and you just said that of the first word you said. I mean, I have some sort of similar experience. My mom always told me, like, when I was a kid, like a baby, like when I was learning how to walk, she would buy me toys and stuff, but I would only play with my soccer ball, only with them. I had a lot of toys actually, but I didn't use them. And I was learning how to walk, and I was, grabbing my chair or something and then moving my feet, with the ball and stuff. So yeah, I guess, yeah, I have as well the soccer in my blood. I mean, I love it. And yes, I just love it, and I hope we have a really nice discussion here. And yeah, we talk about sports and peace. That's that's nice to see you all here.
We have two very forgot what they're called, but
passionate.
Fanatics.
Can we say that? Fanatics.
Anyway, like people who really love sports from when they're a young age, and especially football. I mean, do you guys know Pele? You guys know Pele.
Of course.
Right? So,
my uncle.
So UPF's founder, Reverend Sun Myung Moon, actually met with Pele, and he started this football tournament with him called the Peace Cup. And even though it's not so frequently held nowadays, it's still held by different chapters in the UPF community. And yeah, it's just so interesting how even our founder um was so into sports, you know, and so really loved football especially. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know about any recent ones nowadays. Maybe Melanie, you can introduce
I,
those.
yes, I can share a few projects that have been going on, like from like football projects
Uh-huh.
that were held for the sake of peace. And
Mm-hmm.
there has been one that has been going on for the past 5 years. But with COVID, of course, it didn't happen anymore. But they're planning it again for next year. So that's really great that they can continue doing that. And the project is actually about having young children from Israel and Palestine play together in one team.
Mm.
And they're playing in, so in the past, it was either Italy or San Marino. And so they would be playing together against other teams, so really creating this friendship between countries that are at war. So
Mm.
that was one project that I thought was really inspiring, and the other one
Yeah.
was related to the Korean division. Actually, it's
Mm.
in Estonia. UPF Estonia organized many times tournaments with South Korean young people for the sake of the Korean reunification. So it's kind of making people aware of this division that has been, this country that has been divided for over 7 years, and as a way of using sports to create peace. So these are
Mm.
Wow.
two projects. Yes. And one is actually called Football for Peace, just like our live streaming. Yeah,
Okay.
so I guess we can go ahead with our little debate and discussion. So we've prepared actually a few questions, and I'm really excited actually.
Me
They're
too. I'm
they're
really excited.
quite insightful questions, so I hope we're gonna have a nice time discussing. And also, if anyone in the audience would like to share their opinion, you can write in the chat and just share as well. So please join us also in the debate. Yes, I think, Ellie, you can go on with the first question.
All right. So, are you guys ready?
Sure.
Yes.
Never been.
Okay. So, I know that there are a lot of football players, especially like famous ones that play for other teams. Like Ronaldo is a Portuguese football player, right? But he currently plays for Manchester United. So, and Messi from Argentina plays for PSG. So, our question is, do you think it is unpatriotic for an athlete of one country to play for another country's team? And or is this a means to help with cooperation between, cooperation or bringing about peace between the countries?
I would say it's okay. I mean, for them to play is not like unpatriotic. It's not a like if they play in a team that is like PSG, like of the league of different country. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it helps to make a better game. We can see great players of all the world playing together. We can see great matches that makes football bigger. I think so. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty nice to see them playing together. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the easiest questions Ellie's going to ask us today, and yeah, the I want to back that up with one example from. Actually, I'm live here. It's 10 o'clock in the evening from South Korea, and yeah, there's one very famous South Korean football player which I grew up adoring. Like he was my favorite player. He's Park Ji-sung. He used to play in my team, Manchester United, and yeah, that he was part of a team then which had players from all around the world. There was a French player, French striker. There was South American players. There was one Chinese player even in the same team. But yeah, this is one example of the Park Ji-sung who I really kind of idolized when I was younger. That one player, he kind of brought like I think there's around 100 million, 150 million Man United supporters around the world. who started to
Oh,
like that player, and you know, when they start to like that player, then they start to kind of also change their maybe mind about Korea itself, you know. And
That's right.
so I feel, you know, it's very simple, but perhaps, you know, you talk about international cooperation, it can start from just, you know, being aware and being like yeah, able to perceive different countries, people in a positive light, you know, as your mentor or your idol or something. Yeah.
mm,
That's really
interesting.
inspiring.
Mm.
I didn't really think much about that aspect of creating, I guess, some friendships. I guess it does create some friendships between people of different nations that perhaps wouldn't be possible otherwise. And just the fact of sharing the same passion of football that somehow unites them and allows them to play together. To me, that's really inspiring. It's like as if they're making a little family. Like their team is their family, and despite the fact that they're from different nations and regions of the world, they can still play together. That's, I think, really, really deep somehow. So I would totally be for like the fact that people can play in different teams, and it's not because you're of some nationality that means you can't play in another club. Yeah.
That's right. For us, like
Interesting.
South Americans, it's like a dream to play in Europe, and you know, to go out of South America and play in other teams is like a dream. So actually, the best players of South America, most of them play in Europe. Actually, that's where they get all the experience, and then after that, they come back here. Of course, they learn all the languages, and they share that with the people here. So I feel it makes the sportship bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think it's a really, really, really nice thing that they play together.
Mm.
This is just out of curiosity. It's not one of our questions, but do the players usually speak more than one language? Do they usually have to? Is that one of the requirements, or do they just?
I think I wouldn't say it's a requirement. Actually, they have translators, as far as I know. I'm concerned. I know they have translators sometimes. I know some players that, I mean, there is this one player, Carlos Tevez. I don't know if you've heard of him. He played in Manchester United, I think.
Yeah.
For a long time, but he didn't learn English. I mean, I don't know if he didn't want to or something, but yeah, he has some really funny videos on the internet. But yeah, most of the players I know, like Alexis Sanchez from here, from Chile, or Vida, most of them, they learn English. Sometimes, maybe not. Some of them, they played in Italy. They played in also in the Premier League, so they speak English, Italian. Some of them can speak French. So yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that they speak like a native or something, but they can communicate. So I think that's awesome as well.
I guess that shows that you don't need to speak the same language to play together.
No.
That goes really beyond, like sports goes beyond the language communication. That's cool. I didn't know about that, about the language barrier that there could be, but that can be overcome. Yay.
I have one little personal, just to add surely in the end of that, like I'm playing in the football team now in Korea, and almost everyone's from different countries, you know. So
nice.
Yeah, I think we of course we live in Korea, so we learned Korean, most of us, but still it's not our native language. But still, because of football, it brings us to kind of like bond, you know, beyond that language barrier. Yeah, somebody just commented here that Zlatan Ibrahimovic speaks up to 6 languages.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I think he's been in many different countries. That player, like playing for many different teams. So
wow.
He's almost like as lingual as Melanie. Yeah. Anyway.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
Should we go on, or do we still have some opinions on the topic?
I think we can go. I'm just reading the comments here.
Otherwise, we can always come back to it afterwards, I guess.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. In case we change our mind. So the next question is the fact that football has been used as a means to bring conflicting teams together, but sometimes you got some fans who really get into that spirit of competition, right? And they also kind of get into that conflicting spirit and sometimes don't really behave so well, don't really go with the fair play, right? So the question is, how do you think fans should react if their team doesn't win? And also, what are the consequences that can arise from those bad behaviors by those fans? Also, kind of related to peace, how this can be kind of a barrier. Yeah.
Great question.
Actually, yeah, this is a problem. I think, especially here in South America, I don't see it that much in Europe. I guess I'm not quite sure. But here, I mean, before in the history, right? I mean, I don't really know the history, but I heard something of hooligans and some history about it. Patrick, is that right?
Yeah, no, in Europe it's a very, very big thing as well. Yeah.
But it's like, is it a past thing or it happens?
No, very, very much.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Everywhere then. Oh my god. But yeah, they should behave. I mean, I think that's completely out of the sport itself. I mean, even players sometimes, they tell to the people they should behave with other, teams. Even if they lose, they should learn how to lose. Just learn from the mistakes. I mean, I don't know. I think sports that's what should be done. But yeah, I think it's quite of a problem, right? I didn't know it still happens in Europe. What happens?
Yeah, it's just, if we're going to talk about sport, there's some negative sides and things that need to be improved on. And yeah, there's some alleged racial comments sometimes from fans to players and all this kind of negative aspect, which still trying to work on and raise awareness for it. If you watch Premier League football, then they're still taking the knee, for this kind of problem issues. But yeah, the question is also, you also asked about like how should fans react when they lose, like so just to address that part is like my like perspective is, as a fan or as a player or as a manager, like you should have a similar reaction when you lose as to when you win. And that might sound a bit absurd, but like to have a kind of humble approach. And I'm going to take an example of Liverpool football team right now. They won the championship Premier League 2 years ago, but then last season they had a really kind of difficult time. They had a lot of injuries to the main defenders and this kind of stuff. But yeah, they always they always kept supporting their team, and they always had faith in the manager. And now that these kind of injuries have come, they've recovered. Now they're fighting back for the top. So I feel like as a football fan, it takes a lot of patience. I'm a Manchester United supporter. We lost about 5 of the last 7 games, and I've been kind of depressed. Just kind of like sad, but like it takes a lot of patience. And I feel like if you there's a lot of also social media influence in sports. Most of the comments in sports, like football teams posts, are kind of like negative, or get the manager out, or like these players didn't do so good or whatever. But I do feel you need a lot of you need to be patient, and to actually support somebody. It's not just only when they're doing good that you're supporting them, right? So anyway.
I feel like this is such a big challenge, whether you are a fan or an athlete, to be able to celebrate other people's wins. It's like such a, it's kind of a, kind of something you have to overcome somehow. Like I've always done a lot of sports, not football, although I like playing, but I was rather doing swimming. And when I was younger, especially, like you get some jealousy, like, even in a team, you get some people who get to win, some others who don't, but somehow having to overcome that loss, but being able to celebrate other people's wins, that's such an amazing moment. I think if you're able to overcome that kind of self-centered thoughts and being able to be happy for the other, that's like even more happiness somehow. That's how I felt it in my own experience. And I feel like as a fan, even if you don't see your team winning, but being able to celebrate for the other, that's like it's like going to a higher level somehow. And really being able to I don't know, feel some kind of link to others and not only thinking about one's own happiness somehow. I don't know. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I'd like to say that I'd like to add that I think that it's as you said, like it's this, you know, this particular moment of when somebody else wins and you like you get like frustrated or jealous. I would like to add that when Chile plays here, it's really funny actually because everybody's together. I mean, when Chile plays in the World Cup or something, everybody's together. I know it might happen the same in Europe teams, and everybody's together when the national team play. So that's crazy because sometimes you see people that was arguing a lot, that was fighting in the streets. They go together like to celebrate. And it's like, what up? It's like it's not personal thing between them. It's like really the particular point where somebody loses against to other. That's crazy. I mean, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
Mm. Someone wrote something really, really nice. If I can just read from Kaplan 28, you respect the other team because if it is not for them, you couldn't play. Totally agree with that point.
Wow, that's deep.
Thank you.
It's deep.
Get your comments in, guys.
All right. So let's move on to the next question.
Okay,
Sure.
go for it.
So the next question, I feel like it'll be a little bit touchy. Little bit touchy.
We're ready.
Oh, my connection. Oh my God.
Sandra, come back. Okay. So, at least for me, as I know, for all the official games, men and women don't get to play together. For whatever reasons that is, they don't get to play together. So, do you think that men and women can play together on the same team for the same sport? In this case, for football. And do you think that it could be a means of bringing equality and peace between the two genders, or what do you guys think?
What do you think, Patrick?
Shall I go first? All right. No, I don't mind. Okay, so no, the interesting thing is that like on a weekend basis, I'm playing with guys and girls together, like futsal.
Nice.
It's not 11-a-side, like 5-a-side football or something like that. You know, and I feel really good with that. I feel like there's no problem with that. And I think Sungwoo is going to touch on something later, but I won't go into this more. But like on a competitive stage in football, there's a lot of physical contact as well. Anyway, there's a lot of difficulties that might arise. I'll leave Sungwoo to talk about that part, but I'll try and take the more positive
You're good, man. You're good.
Like there in at least in English football, I think European football, I'm not sure about other continents too much, but there's been a lot of raising awareness of the women's football game. Like, not that they play together, but just that the women's football league should get just as much press as the men's football league. Also that the reality is that men's footballers get paid about 100 times more than women's footballers, and that's some kind of difficult, like injustice in sport in one way. But yeah, there's definitely an increase in popularity, and also in terms of referees and managers. There's always been men's managers and referees in the women's game, but only recently, last maybe 10 years or so, we have now like women's linesmen or referees in the Premiership and Premier League in England. And I just feel like that helps the players to conduct themselves more, like respectfully. They maybe it's easy for them to like argue with the male ref, and I don't know, like get mad at him or something. But when there's a female there, I don't know, it's not like you shouldn't be different really, but maybe it can make them calm down more easily, and it brings a bit more of a harmonious, perhaps, like side to sport.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have some things to say about other sport, but I think I'll let Sungwoo first talk about the football.
Yes. So what I think, I mean, I don't know in the future. Actually, I don't know if things might change in the future, but right now, for aggressive contact sports, I would say, like such as soccer, I would say women cannot play together with men for now. I mean, I would say for now. I don't know. Because of that, I mean, based on my experience, we've played. I played. I wouldn't say I played professionally, but yeah, I played my whole life. I in various teams, in different teams, and sometimes there was a woman or two, because not many women play in soccer yet. I mean, it's increasing, but yeah, we didn't see such a good outcomes of it. I mean, when you play like, with your friends, it's all right, but when you're competing, sometimes you forget. um, Sometimes there is a physical difference. Sometimes might not, but if there is a physical difference, you have to be careful with it. But if you're competing, you forget all about that. So I would say for now, not no. For now, no. But I don't know in the future. And also, I heard Patrick talk about the female league, and actually, I think even if it's not as big as it should be, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of money in it yet, and not many players. And well, it's getting bigger and bigger. I think it must have a history, because if you see the players of the soccer before, they weren't really good. Actually, sport soccer has been getting how should I say it, like better and better and better. If you see the Pele, when Pele played, I mean, I would say he's one of the most known players of all the world, of the history. But if you see them how they played, they weren't really good. It wasn't as competitive as it is today. And I think female leagues have to go through the same history, and maybe in the future, maybe I think in the future they might get as good as men today, and maybe there will be a possibility for them to play together in the same thing. But I think for that we need history behind it, because men's soccer, but football played for men has a long history, and it's been changing through the time. So now, yeah, I think we need the history behind the female league, and then might be in the future we can mix it all and make a league with women and men playing together. I think there is a possibility in the future, but for now, I would say no.
Interesting. I want to ask if, for example, a woman has also played football all her life. She's trained just as much as a man footballer, and she proves that she has the capability and everything. And like Sungkook said, maybe there might be some physical differences that you need to consider before joining the teams. But for example, she was willing to put herself out there, and she agreed, maybe I might fall short in I don't know, like I might fall short in some kind of category compared to a man, but I am willing to display to show my other strengths and play with the men. So in that case, what would you, if you were the captain of the team, right? What would you do?
I mean, if I were the director of the team, and if I had a woman that plays more, I mean, better than some of my players in a particular position, I would definitely use her in the team. I mean, if she's that good and she can compel with the whole team, I mean, I think that would be great. But I would be a little bit afraid because of the aggressive contact. That would be, I think that could possibly be an issue.
You mean like she would get hurt more, or she would be, I don't know, what do you mean?
Maybe I think maybe man and woman have a different, kind of consciousness, how they have to be careful with each other. I don't know how to say it, but then no, for real. I mean, for real. When you play soccer, it's aggressive, and sometimes I don't know. It's No, it's a difficult question. Patrick?
I think if you've ever watched women's handball tournament, you're gonna be scared. It's really scary. They're like
Yeah.
so violent and not scared at all. So in that sense, I don't know. Of course, there's some kind of physical difference and in terms of strength as well, perhaps. But I don't know if that can be a reason to somehow fear like hurting each other. I don't think that necessarily women would be more fragile in that sense. I mean, of course, if you're heavier, it's dangerous, but I'm not sure.
I think what Songuk is trying to get at is that, you know, of course, women are, and you know, I'm sure, you know, Melanie and Ellie as well, it can be aggressive when you play sports as well, you know, especially, you know, if you watch some women's rugby games, they're intense, you know. Or I don't know. Do you have women's American football? Not sure, but
we do.
You do, right?
It's not as big.
Right.
I
Okay.
believe.
I think women can definitely get as aggressive, but I think what Songuk's trying to address is like men want to go all out when they play, isn't it? Also women, but like if you're playing on a pitch with men and women in the top level, and they're, you know, you turn around and you have to try and tackle somebody. For a split second, you might not know is that a woman or a man, and you have to tackle them with the same like brute force. And yeah, I think Songuk is trying to protect. Even when I play with my friends, my female friends, you know, I'm trying to be more tender. Sometimes, you know, I'm a bit over the top. Feel a bit embarrassed, but yeah, there's some. But I think if I can share about other sports, like there's a good example in Wimbledon in tennis. They have mixed doubles matches, and I think those are quite fun actually. Like in 2019, I think Andy Murray and Serena Williams, they made a doubles team. You know, they're not the best doubles because they're singles players, but it was really fun to watch, you know, and, you know, it got a lot of, it can be even more like inspiring to watch the men and women playing together than just men with men or women with women. And one more example, in the Tokyo Olympics, just while we're there, like the relay, for the first time ever, I think, the relay of the Tokyo Olympics had a men's relay, a women's relay, and then afterwards a men and women's combined, like four times 100 meters relay race. And that was really that was even more fun for me to watch this year. It was one of the most fun events. Yeah, you know, they could choose the order, you know, they don't have to go man, woman, man, woman. It could be man, woman, woman, or something. So you don't know until the last 50 meters who's really winning. It was really interesting. Yeah, I think you can add a little different spark. That's my.
So I guess we're going more and more into that trend of trying out mixed teams. In the past few years, it's been going more in that kind of trying out. But I wonder if this is gonna ever happen in football, because somehow there's kind of this tendency, if you look at on the world level, that the men's one is much more watched, and there's it's much more of the interest of the people to watch that rather than the women's one. So I wonder how it would turn out if you have a mixed team. Would people still watch it, or would it not really interest people? I wonder about that. But I would definitely want it to happen once, just to see how it is, what's the outcome, and whether it would somehow bring equality and maybe peace somehow. That would be interesting, definitely.
Let's make UPF mixed World Cup.
Yay.
Let's do that. All right. So, does anyone else? I see a lot of comments from our audience. I feel like we have very mixed feelings. Someone commented about the physical parts of men and women in general, how we're built physically different. So that could be one of the things that we need to consider. Someone also said, I can't imagine a woman taking a tackle from someone. You never know.
No, but he's talking about he's talking about some of the most aggressive, like this is one
Players.
Italian guy, Gattuso. He was very aggressive
Yeah,
guy. He's got a much bigger beard than me, and like,
yeah. Ooh, yeah, that says a lot.
Well, I mean, if the football player, a woman football player was like, I'm trying to think of a really big buff sports player. Selena Williams. Imagine that, you know? But anyway, that's
that's a fair
very
point. Yeah.
insightful discussion.
Yeah, actually, we
Alright.
don't have much time. Time is passing by so quickly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Should we just do one more?
Yeah. Let's see how it goes with the next one. I'll read it out. In
we go.
sports, there are often bettings, which includes gambling and bribing, and also exchange of athletes for money. And also some people play for huge amounts of money, right? So what do you think about money playing such a big part in sports and tournaments? And is it ethical to have money linked to sports?
Great question.
So I think first of all we have to separate bribes from the money itself in the sport, because there shouldn't be any bribes or something like that. It's completely illegal. So taking that off, like the fact that we have largest amount of money between the sport, I think I wouldn't say it's unethical. I think that's the way sports get to grow more and more, because if there was no money, there wouldn't be any leagues or something. People wouldn't play just for fun, and as that they wouldn't reach that level that they have if there was no money. I mean, I think that's the tool that sports use, and money is the tool that is used to grow things. I think soccer is a great, one of the greatest business, right? One of the greatest businesses. I think that's things on money. Of course, we shouldn't have any bribes or something illegal happen to it. But I think it's not unethical to have it. I think it helps the sport to grow itself. So I don't think we should, put like some sort of limitations related to money in sports.
Yeah, just for time's sake, I won't speak a lot, but just to point out one big example was earlier this year, like in the whole European, like the football empire just like almost went up in smoke overnight because of money. It was pretty crazy. If there's any football fans watching, they'll know probably about the Super League like scandal this year. So like basically the top 6 like richest teams, most kind of successful, kind of like they met kind of behind curtains. They met up and they just tried to leave their own leagues and make a super league, it was really scandalous. And like they didn't tell any of the leagues or any of the other teams before doing it. They didn't get any permission or anything like that. So anyway, I don't want to talk about that a lot because I could talk for a while, but if people, and they basically did that because they could receive a lot of money, a lot of sponsorships for this like super epic league, but it kind of ruins the grassroots principles of football, which is where you can anyone from the bottom of the football triangle can advance to the top through developing, through growing, through building a good team. But this Super League was only you have to pay to get into it, and it's not. it was quite outrageous. And the good thing was that fans they got enraged. I said I wouldn't talk too much about it, but they protected basically these leagues. Yeah, which was good because like they were saying like football is saved, and all the teams, all their fans basically went against their deal, and within 2 days it became nothing. It went back to normal. For a day or two it was a bit crazy. Yeah, I think the fans and the people who watch it will save ultimately sport from the money, which is like kind of always kind of tempting it to go away from its original principles or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, money is really tricky. Somehow you can always use it for good. It's necessary somehow, but at the same time, it can also deal with some unethical parts. But I think one part that is really unfair somehow is that some sports, it can really sustain. I mean, doing the sports can really allow an athlete to be totally into it and doesn't have to get any other sponsors. But some sports you can't live out of your sport. So I feel like this is kind of unfair, the fact of your audience being kind of the ones choosing whether you're going to have the money or not. Yeah. And being a swimmer, I totally feel that, because swimmers can't live out of their sports, but for example in golf or tennis you can totally do that. So I think that's kind of the sad part of money being not really fairly distributed, but I guess that's the case for anything else.
I think we could there was one really good comment just came up.
Yes.
You want to talk about it, Sanggup? You're peon.
Go. You go.
Okay, or Ellie, do you want to say?
You can read it, Patrick.
Okay, he said, think about the maintenance of the stadiums, physical treatment athletes go through to improve their game, all the football projects for kids all over the world. Totally. Yeah, and I think actually there needs a bit like much more media attention on those kind of stories, isn't it? Yeah, I often hear about hooligan stories after football games, but I would like to hear, I think Messi has a lot of projects back in his home country, developing like trying to get people off the streets into football and this kind of thing. Pele also, yeah, you mentioned him earlier. He had a lot of like wider influence on getting removing the corruption from football and investing into kind of this peaceful projects through football. Yeah, I think if the money, there's a lot of money because people watch sport. It's a natural thing to happen. We don't want to label it as a bad thing. But if it can be invested for good projects, why not? Why not encourage it? It could be. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. So I think for time's sake,
should we still at least mention the last one just shortly?
Okay. Should we measure greatness by championships? So, that Dani Alves, I think up until August 2021, he won up to 43 championships, 43 trophies. So does that make him better, than other football players because of the amount of championships or trophies that he's won? Just really quick.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good.
I think if we didn't measure with championships, we wouldn't know. I don't know if the word greatest fits, but yeah, I think we need championship. We need people competing among themselves, because out of that is that when who's better prepared. I know someone who's that. His name is from basketball. Kobe Bryant. For example, I like him a lot. I like him a lot because he always talks about training and stuff, and we know he's one of the greatest, because I wouldn't say the outcome of it is the championships, what he received, the trophies and stuff, but what is behind that is the time that he used to that he was practicing every day more than other people. That I think trophies are the outcome of it. I mean, you can see through the trophies who's better prepared. So I think it's a good way to know who's actually on the top. Patrick?
Just really quickly, but like I think there's also a weight to each trophy and like an amount of investment and like competition for each trophy. So I don't think Dani Alves, he's a Brazilian football player, but Pele is also a Brazilian football player. But Pele won 3 World Cups, So if you want to compare the stature of those trophies, that's another thing, But yeah, also different times in history of different players. There's a lot of things to be considered.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess also in teams, you're not competing alone. There's like a whole team behind you. So even if you're one person winning many trophies, you also want it with other people's cooperation somehow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Except Marathon. He would play alone. He was great, and
Yeah. All right. Well, I learned so much. This was a very fun and educational discussion, I think. And we actually prepared some other questions for our live audience. So we want to say thank you so much to our guest speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for participating in our live stream and for all your comments and all your insights. And yeah, thank you so much. We hope to see you soon.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Patrick.
much,
Thank you,
guys.
Songguk.
thank you.
And you can actually still stay with us,
Okay.
although you come out of the live streaming, and you can still
right.
see the other people from the audience if anyone wants to answer the questions we prepared.
Okay.
But yes,
Okay.
thanks a lot.
I just press the X button here, right?
I think so. You can try it and we'll see what
Okay, let's try it
happens.
out.
Yes.
Okay. Hope we can play sports
Bye.
together someday.
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Okay. Thank you. We'll stay tuned.
Great.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Nice. So we're
All
at our
right.
next part now. I guess we can
Yes.
go on directly.
So just to explain to our audience really quick, we just wanted to be a little bit more interactive to you guys and be like open the floor for you guys. So we did prepare a couple of questions. So if you guys want to, we can't accept everyone, obviously. But if you want to answer one of our questions, feel free to click the ask to join the live stream, okay?
Mm-hmm. And also, just before I read out the question, also if we let you in, if you could just introduce yourself shortly, like your name, where you're from, and also what sport you do, whether it's football or something else, that would be great too. So I'll read out the first question. Sorry, just a second. Who is the greatest football player of all time to you? And why do you think so? And why do you admire this person? If anyone wants to join, you can just request to enter and we'll let you in. Oh, we got a request. We got Naomi Hakcha here. I'll let you in. This is our first time trying out with our live audience. Oh, hi, Naomi.
Hi.
Really nice having you with us. Thank you
Hello.
for joining.
Thank you. Well, hello, everyone. I will introduce myself first. Okay. My name is Naomi Bejarano. I'm from Peru. I was born in Peru, but now I'm living in California. For sport, for different things. The name of my sport is shooting sport. You know,
Ooh.
but this sport is with different types of weapons, guns, like pistols, carbines, different types. And maybe you know about this sport, or maybe you don't know, but yeah, it's super good. I like it. I started this sport when I was 11 years old. And yeah, I actually am a national champion of my country. I represent.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We got a pro on our live streaming. That's really great.
Oh, yeah, I like it, this sport. And yeah, this sport impacted my life in a positive way, I think. And now I feel more disciplined person. I feel I can do more physical activity, and I feel more patient. So, so this sport.
Interesting.
Yes.
Wow. All right, so who is your favorite football player?
Sure, I forgot the question, sorry. Okay, the greatest football player for me is Lionel Messi.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think this is humble, he's commitment, he's supportive. He's currently ambassador of UNICEF. I don't know if you know that, but he's currently ambassador of UNICEF, and he has foundation to help people, to help families in different countries like IT. Or, yeah, it's wonderful to see who he helps people around the world, and I like that. I admire that.
Thank you so much, Naomi. That's actually really inspiring because you mentioned more about things he does for others rather
Yeah.
than as an athlete in itself. So that's really interesting. Yeah. Did you want to add something more, or
Oh no,
that was
that's it.
all? Yeah. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for joining
Thank you
us.
so much. Nice to meet you. You're amazing.
Yes. All the
Yeah.
best for your sports in the future competitions.
First, in 2 weeks I will have other national champions, so I hope this will.
Oh my
All the
gosh.
best.
All the best. We wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you,
Yay.
Okay.
guys.
Thank
you.
you.
So I guess we can take one more person for this same question. So regarding your greatest football player of all time. If anyone wants to join in, you can send your request. I see we have lots of comments. That's really nice that you guys join us through your comments. Otherwise, we can also continue with the two other questions. And
Okay.
you can always send your request if you want to answer the first one. But yeah, we'll read out the second one.
Okay. So, we talked about a lot about how each person is, they have their own strength, they practice a lot, they invested a lot, and they are great football players themselves. But this question is, would you rather be as loved and admired as a great athlete, or would you rather be loved and admired as a great team player?
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you could, what would you define as a great athlete or as a great team player?
Mm-hmm.
The floor is open to you guys to join.
So much.
Hi.
Thank you also for
How
joining
was that?
us. Do you want to introduce yourself? Like, tell us your
Yes.
name and where you're from.
My name is Sula. I'm from Nigeria. Um, I feel like I would rather be known as a great team player. And
Mm,
obviously, human nature, everyone wants to be the best. Naturally, everybody would want to be known as the best athlete. But if you think of it this way, imagine you're part of a team and you're the best there, and probably your other team members are not good enough, you probably wouldn't do so well, you know,
Mhm.
in relation to being in a team where there are other star players that are just as good as you are. And then you'll be known as a team to be a great team, you understand? So for that, it's
mhm,
like more wins. So I'll definitely probably be I'll be happy to be part of a team and, share the spotlight as a team than
mhm,
just be the only one.
mhm.
Mm,
Thank you so much.
right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Join also for the second question. So the third one is, do you think projects such as the Peace Cup and Football for Peace that were organized by UPF can bring about world peace? Is there anyone inspired by this question? Maybe some of you haven't heard about what Peace Cup and Football for Peace are if you didn't join from the beginning of our live streaming, but they're projects that were held by UPF in the past, and it was really about using football as a means to create peace between nations, between people, and so on. And so is the Football for Peace project that is being held in different countries. As I said earlier, there's a project being held every year in Italy and San Marino, and there are children from Israel and Palestine playing together in one team against other teams. So that's also a way of creating friendships between nations that are at war. Yeah, if anyone wants to say something about this one, you are welcomed to join us. Hi! If you can introduce yourself and tell us where you are and what sports you do.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel. I am 23. I'm originally from Switzerland, but I live in Brazil now. My sport was for 7 years football when I was very young. And after that, I changed to basketball, and I'm still very passionate about it. So for me, the question is, I'm not so sure about it, but I think in the fact that sports in general has such a great power of bringing people together, especially if it's team sports, be it football, basketball, American football, any sort of kind of team related action. As we are human beings, social animals in that sense, I think this is the most captivating kind of energy, seeing people have a big impact in our world. I think more and more people are also getting more interested in sports in general. Well, that's my belief. But yeah, I think especially in regards to peace, in regards to connection, there's a lot of potential for this to happen. I guess more and more people try to seek for more peace anyway, especially after hard times like COVID, or in general with football, where there's in many ways a lot of rivalry between certain teams. I think many people feel a lot more drawn to this kind of energy, to this kind of action, seeing people unite in sports and not just have this greed of just winning. Of course, this is also a huge part of sports in general, but I guess the social aspect to it, the aspect to be in something together, kind of a more collective aspect of team unity and I don't know, kind of just mutual agreement to, yeah, kind of this mutual agreement of going forward with a goal together as one, and not just as individuals, or not just as something that is just driven by having this urge to always win, or always having the higher power in every aspect. So I think, yeah, sports has a huge potential. Sports has so much to give. Aside from the fun fact of playing as well, but I guess this aspect of also feeling connected to it definitely has a huge aspect to it. Huge. Here in Brazil, it's very, like, football in general is a huge thing. So every time when I walk around, everyone has like his team jersey shirt on. So here it's like really strong. The rivalries as well, for sure. But it's definitely a very strong force here in Brazil, for sure. But in general,
do you also wear your Swiss one?
Not so many people know it though. They always switch it up with Sweden for but yeah. But it's also cool, right? Because especially with basketball, I guess it's a very cool thing, because the most famous one is just known the NBA, right? And so when people see like a jersey from a team in the NBA and they recognize it immediately, there's already some sort of connection, even though it's maybe not your favorite team, but the connection is already there. The mutual understanding of the game, the mutual kind of feeling or sensation you get when you know what this game is all about. There's already so much this itself, within itself, this sort of feeling gives you in regards to connection.
Yeah, it's like a feeling of oneness, even though you guys are supporting different teams. Just being a fan of, the sport itself, and just being a fan of NBA or whatever league it is, just brings that feeling of oneness and unity, and it's great. I think it's one of the unique things that sports can do. But thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
us. Thank you so much for
much.
your intake
No,
and your
thank you
insight.
guys.
And it's very nice to meet you.
Yeah, definitely. I joined in because I'm actually at work, but I thought this is such an interesting new topic. I haven't seen it, so I wanted to join in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a good day or a
Oh,
good rest of your day in that case. Here it's 10 o'clock.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks. That's really a beautiful way of ending our live streaming. A beautiful note on peace. I hope you all really enjoyed it as well. And thank you also again to all the people from the audience who joined us, and also for our two guest speakers, Patrick and Songguk. That was really nice having you live with us from Chile and South Korea. I guess it's time to say goodbye.
Yes. Please stay tuned for our next one. We will be updating on the topic. And please let us know if you want to be one of the our guests. And yeah, thank you so much again. And thank you for coming, and have a great day.
Yes, thank you. Have a nice day. Take all good care of your health and be careful.